Hey everybody, welcome. It's another Friday night live and roughshod ramblings. Here we go. I pushed the go button. I was very well coordinated with all this. I got to be quick here. Boom, boom. There we go. Hot diggity.
Okie dokie.
All right. So yeah, we've been kind of, it's been a week.
It has.
Things that you agreed with me that I'm not going to share
That's right.
because it's work related. So and yeah, it's been a
I
week.
think it I think it's everywhere. All right. It's everywhere.
It is, but I
Uh,
could get fired if I share it.
I'm not,
Yeah.
yeah, no, don't, yeah. I know about those little things
Yep.
you've got.
Yep.
No, absolutely. You don't need to share anything related to
Nope.
anything to do with your work.
Yep. And your point is important because we don't need to feel like we're isolated from all the stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Abs yeah,
That all of
absolutely.
us are kind of like going through it.
Oh yeah, yeah, everybody is. I mean, um, I'm really surprised to see how many people are having gut issues. All right, is or like it's like an anxiety gut issue, but it's not anxiety. It's something else. So I've noticed that, and so I've noticed easier to fast, easier to get back onto any of the old habits that I slipped off, because I have a routine where I fast and do all of that, and you slip off now and then. Um, so I've noticed that is putting me back on a particular track. I'm noticing childhood wounds are coming to the surface for everybody. And I'm seeing them. It was shared with me today that, and this is when it clicked, that I've heard a lot of people this week talking about child work, their inner child work, their inner child shadow work is what you're doing. You are now in there, you're now communicating. This is the frequency. So if you are feeling it happening to you, um, all I can really say is the message that I keep getting is let go. Let go. Okay. So when you let go of it, you'll see what's yours and what's not yours. And when you see that you've been carrying something that's not yours, all right, because they were carrying something that wasn't theirs, you have the opportunity now to recognize it, acknowledge it, and say adios to it. All right. Allow yourself to get that much lighter. This is you don't need a judge to judge you for your actions right now. You are the judge and the jury. You are the one who's going to make the changes right now. If you're feeling this way, this is like, I don't see it as a bad thing. I see it as this is an opportunity for growth. All right, you've stopped at a certain point. You've gone, that's not the direction I want to go in. It doesn't feel right for me. I don't like it. So you stop and then you go, okay, now I've got all of this stuff coming to the surface of what I participated in. And I don't like what it was doing to me. You're getting to see this is you doing your shadow work and you're going deep. And this is a crossroads. You make the choice. You either carry on doing what you've been doing and keep creating what you've been creating, never changing, or you go, no, I'm stepping off this ride. Today
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to see that somebody that I know has been on this ride. And today I got a very clear message in their dream state as a child, they passed on participating in an action. And in this is in dream state, and in doing so, they passed. It was very loud and clear. So, we are all being tested. We are being tempted and we're being tested.
I think
Um,
though too, there's another aspect of what you're describing. It's I don't, because I don't really kind of feel like it's being tested. It feels more like things that are being brought to the surface for giving us an opportunity to take care of some sort of inner child or some sort of woundings. We all have them. We all have to deal with them in our own way. Technically, we don't have to deal with any of it. But right? I mean, you can just walk away and say, forget that noise, and I'm just going to live my unhappy life. Because some people are more comfortable in the guilt and the chaos and the pain and the struggle, and that's what they know that there's a great deal of comfort in chaos and pain because
yeah,
it becomes too familiar, and there's that uncomfortable feeling of having to deal with something that might be unknown, even though you might even think that it's going to be and it will be better, it's still scary as all get out. People can tell you how wonderful it is when you walk through that door. But
yeah,
until you take the step forward and put your hand on the handle and turn the knob to open the door, none of it's going to happen. It's just going to stay in that unknown, and you're going to be, your phrase, that stuck state. You
yeah,
know, yeah. So, and I think too, the other thing that you were talking about is this when you're having these dreams, because I don't get dreams very often. I'll be talking to someone and I'll have something flash into my memory that it will remind me of a dream I had 4 or 5 years ago. And I write my things down as best I can. But I mean, when there's something that's really crazy vivid, you have no freaking idea what that was about. None of it made sense. But here you are, 4 or 5 years later, and it was like, oh,
yeah,
okay. So kind of the message that you got in it didn't make sense at the time, but if you look back at that old message, it's like, oh, okay, this is why I had to wait to see this till now. It makes more sense now. Now I'm ready. You see it. Now you not only see it, you can manage it, you can dismantle it, you
yeah,
can reassemble it, do whatever you need to do with whatever your situation is. So I think those dream state triggers can be for an inner child. I mean, I think I'm pretty open about, I have no clue why I have this affinity for disliking bridges. And
yeah,
I have to cross two rivers to get to my office. So I've gotten to the point where if I'm traveling along and there's a light there, I try to travel so I don't have to stop on the bridge. That still bothers me. Don't know why, but it's just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm feeling that kind of rise up. Okay, kind of acknowledge it and let it go. Because
yeah,
maybe I'm not supposed to. Maybe it's like Paul and the thorn in his side, right? You just kind of,
yeah,
okay, you acknowledge it and you move on. So the dream state triggers with that inner child healing is also, I think, connected with recognizing when you have those feelings, and you were talking about some of the things that you've been experiencing with your body.
yeah,
So that is all of that is related to the somatic senses. And it's something that's trying to get you to pay attention to something.
yeah.
So you were talking about what? About some of the things that you were feeling in your physical body when you started recalling something.
Oh, the deeper I go, the deeper it's like there's this it's like that deep anxiety that makes you nauseous, but it actually goes deeper than that. It's like, oh, there's no breath. Right, almost right before a panic attack. Okay. And it's like, whoa, what am I doing? What's going on here? Why is my body doing this? I'm under no stress. What's going on? What's the anxiety? Where's it coming from? And then I'm like, no, well, it can't be that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can't be that. So I'm like, what have I eaten today? Okay, I made a coconut slice. No, can't be that because I eat coconut all the time. Um, what else? Nothing. So there was no reason for me to be getting this constant, and I found that there's other presences going on in my environment. There's other activity going on in my environment. So now I'm finding that I'm actually pulling out the little devices and the energy devices that strengthen areas that have weakened over time, that I've neglected over time. So I'm seeing that I'm doing this inner child work where I'm recounting the spiritual experiences that I've had and finding how each
Hmm.
of them are connected to different traumatic states. I know that sounds bad, but when I was a child, I would have visions of accidents and plane crashes and all sorts of stuff, and then they would happen. And that never left me. That never left me. That's still with me. So and it's not a very pleasant part of the gift to have. I promise you that. Um, and all of those work, all that work has now allowed me to segment myself and get those individual jobs done for the different ages that that child was when that trauma was taking place. It's got the dates. It's we're regaining our lost memories. If you've suffered from uh, I just call them black spots. You know, at that point when you get taken from life to death, there's that dark spot that you have no memory whatsoever. It's gone. Psh. And when you come back in, there's that missing time. Um, and that can float. That can float in there for a long time. So now
Well,
mine are,
here's something interesting that related to what you just talked about, that block of time that everything's black and it's missing time. You can do that with your eyes open, right?
yep,
When you're driving along, sometimes you just kind of you go into that zone out mode and right? Sorry.
yeah, autopilot.
Yeah, you definitely, but where do you go? Where does your consciousness go when that happens? But for me, I can't be put under. So I have my body reacts pretty badly to sulfa drugs. So if they put me under, there's a good chance I won't be coming out. I talked to a doctor friend of mine, and she had said that, yeah, her husband's cousin almost passed away as a result of being um, put under, and they couldn't wake him up. They couldn't wake him up. Uh, so I have no memory of that hour or hour and a half for the procedure. Where was I?
Yeah.
But I have no awareness in this realm about what happened. So I had asked somebody about it who was quite good with that sort of thing, and I think she said you're basically doing whatever it is that you do in the astral. I think there was some sort of I don't know, she came up with something. I can't even remember what she had said. This was a couple like 3 years ago, because I was very curious as to why everybody else has these dang experiences where they're almost dead on a table. And me, I feel cheated, dag nabbit. I can't remember anything.
Yeah, not all of them. I mean, I've had some where I've gone out. I know I'm leaving the body. I know I'm out of the body, but then it's just dark. It's just darkness. It's like I was explaining it. This is one of the things that came up was if you've watched that movie, what is it? Stranger Things, and she goes into that dark void. That's what it was like. There's just darkness, but I was there. So it was like, okay, everything around me is just dark. So where am I? Where's this love and light energy and stuff? I've had the other side where it has been, I wanted to stay. Okay, don't let me come back. I want to stay. Okay. And yeah, but no, I'm back again and again and again. So it's
Yeah.
like,
I don't even
yeah,
get a black void. I'm out and then I'm awake and everybody looks scared except for me who looks confused.
okay, did you die? Was that an actual death or
How
was it
how would I know? The first time my family was there in the hospital, And they were all, I heard somebody say, "Oh my God, she's finally awake." And they were all like freaking out because I wasn't waking up. And I was very, very young. And yeah, they were like really freaked out. And I remember being very sick to my stomach, and they had given me an injection to hopefully ease some of the nausea. But this last time was maybe in 2017. And man, I'm telling you, I was sick for 3 days. I did not get any shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't sleep. Nothing was pleasant.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just not a cool thing. And all I did was I got knocked out and I woke up and I remember already sitting up, and somebody, when they saw my eyes were open, shoved a little can of soda in my hand and a little pack of those crackers. And I'm sitting there thinking, what is this? What is going
Yeah.
on? And all the staff are in the room doing things, and they're kind of like looking over their shoulders. It's like, and then somebody would come in and the other person would leave. And that happened a couple of times. And the doctor came in and he looked like shaken.
Yeah.
And he said a couple of things to me, but I'm still like sitting there with this. I think I took a couple of sips because I got sick. I'm only like maybe 15, 20 minutes away. And I ended up on the way back. My sister had to pull over so I could get sick. Eventually got home. I was a mess for 3 days, and when I got into work, my doctor friend says, "What happened to you?"
Yeah. Oh,
I think
wow.
I may have been close to leaving this place.
I've had concussion a few times. It's when I go out and I'm trying to find at the moment, there's certain things that I can hear while I'm in black space in concussion. I can hear voices, but I can't see anybody. Um, I'm trying to work. What I'm doing is I'm going through all the the out of body experiences that I've had, and there's a few. So I'm now looking at all the patterns, repeated patterns of what was done, how it was done, and where I went. Where I went. I want to know where I went in that space of time. So that's what I've been writing about just recently, and it's like, wow, that's really taken me some deep childhood memories. And then I'll sit back for 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden, I'm hearing that same chatter all around. All of a sudden, everybody's purging, everybody's getting out these really deep emotions, and these emotions are going deeper and deeper. Now's the time to be able to let that go. Let it go. And that's the message that keeps coming back. And the one that gave me that message, she was known as the Ancient One. I don't have the picture handy at the moment, but it may show itself later on. Um, but she was the one that showed me to let go of the weight that I was carrying. It wasn't mine. And it showed itself in the form of oh God, the early 1970s, big, heavy leather, lazy boy chair that it was a new thing to be able to flick your legs out and put them up, you know. It was like that. And it was strapped to my back. How could I achieve the goal that was set in front of me with that strapped to my back? And before I realized it, I'd let it go. And I was able to achieve that goal. And I could turn back to see her. She'd dissipated, but I could still feel her smiling like I'd passed. So there's these little things that have shown themselves to me in these different spaces, Oh, mate, it's a hell of a ride right now.
Yeah, it
We've
is.
got all these volcanoes, we've got all these layers, these veils are dropping away like dunk 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 dunk. They're not going to be able to hide much longer. Yeah,
I
transference.
agree.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
one of the things that about this whole, like you're saying, that's going to be hard for them to hide. The problem moving forward, even though there's going to be this exposure, awakening is now a passe word, where it's what you were talking about beforehand. I feel like this kind of ties in with the idea of confirmation and normalcy biases,
Yeah.
where people are going to be able to kind of keep their own personal space and status quo with those ideas because they don't want to do these inner child healings and releasing some of these dream state triggers.
Yeah.
And paying attention to your body and what your body feels like. And for the last I don't know how many months, it's gotten more and more challenging to push them aside. And I think you made a good point of being able to distinguish between what's yours and what's somebody else's. Whatever that is for your particular biome, whatever your vessel is going to be receiving, how you interpret that is going to be slightly different.
Yeah.
So, Stone, for you personally, how is it that you know something is part of you? That's not even the right word to put it because something can come in, really, right? Something can
Yeah.
come in and make it feel like it's part of you. Okay, I'm feeling something very, very different. It's
Yeah.
in my body, and this is amplified for me over the last 2 or 3 weeks
Yeah.
because I can feel stuff kind of ebb, and then all of a sudden I'll get slammed with something, and I'm slowly figuring out what the difference is between me and not me. I'm not going to say somebody or something. I'm not going to put it in that language. It's just me or not me. It's something
Yeah.
passing through, and that's something that's possible too, right? Something that's passing by.
Yeah.
We don't have that light spectrum to see with our human eye. So
Yeah.
how do you make those distinguishings, differentiate?
Feel well, a bit okay. I've been able to recognize the frequencies within them. So when they come across, it's like, okay, that's me. This is my body. My body is reacting to either a food I've eaten. I know what my body says to me if I've
Okay,
had too much of something.
okay. So when you described something that you know what your body feels like,
Yeah.
um, for me, a lot of times I do know what I feel. But if I'm just sitting there zoned out and all of a sudden I have something hit a particular part of my body and it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? That's one thing. It's another thing if something comes sneaking in.
Yep.
That also is not necessary. That might be something coming in to kind of check out the territory. It's not
Yep.
necessarily malevolent. It's something that's maybe exploratory, maybe exploring or saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, this looks different."
Yeah. It's when you go to a new environment, there are beings, okay, that'll check you out. And some might even check out with you for a little bit and then pop back. There are a lot of forces out there. Um, you may have, when you've gone in there, you may have got wounded without realizing it, and then when you've come back, now you're infected. There are different ways that they hijack through us because we're a conduit. And if we're tapping into different dimensions of ourselves, then, I mean, I've sat here and I've had conversations, I've been in just normal conversations, and all of a sudden I get like a punch in the stomach. And that's like, okay, there's a message there for somebody that I'm talking to. So then I'll say, I'll ask, it's like, the symptoms show themselves whether they're yours, whether they're communication, or whether they're tampering. Okay? And because our 9 to 5s, we're so distracted with getting the job done, making sure we're supporting our needs to survive in whichever way we need to, we forget to actually listen to what's going on here. When you start listening and watching what's going on, you'll see that you're not alone. You're never alone. There's always something there. And then you start learning how to communicate with it and how to tell it to bugger off in nice terms. It's a bit of this. Okay. So yeah. This okay, now when it comes to the food side of it, it's like everything. It has symptoms. It has symptoms. Now you were saying something earlier on about pain, and it's like when people don't want to get themselves out of pain because they like it, because it's comfortable. I call that mass Stockholm syndrome, right? They're in there, they're in a relationship with this particular feeling state,
Yep.
and they're going to do whatever they can to make sure this feeling state stays there. Okay? It's basically an addiction to pain.
Mhm.
When you realize you don't need to live like that because it's boxing you in, it's keeping you in stuck states. All you got to do is learn a little bit about how your vessel, your body actually works, right? As an organism, a living conscious awareness organism. And then you start seeing all of this other tampering and shit that goes on. We have parasitical entities, and the closest thing to that is like that alien movie where it's, grows in here and hatches out. And then you've got the other one that's inside the head, and I think that was Stargate. Those are the ones that got me. They got me because I feel like I've seen those. I've pulled those sort of things out of people. It's like I was saying to you, when we're in the etheric level and we're doing healing, I can see what's moving almost under the skin. It's a layer, but it's not a skin, so under the skin, and it's moving, and it's not meant to be there. It's a foreign body. So, and if I can grab one of them and pull it out, uh, I see that that actually helps somebody later on. It helps that person later on. So then I realize I'm doing another level of healing. If I'm doing it, then everybody's doing it. We're all doing it on one level or another. Nobody's discounted on the experiences and the ways they get to the same. There's many paths to the one. That's all that keeps coming to my mind. But when it's something getting inside you, like you're being possessed, oh, you fucking know about that. Oh man, that's like something's tearing you out of, and it gets in. Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I had one I had one of them, and I think I was very lucky. That even gives me the shakes. Um,
Yeah.
that whole Peter Pan, when he gets when it was it Peter Pan? Somebody gets their shadow ripped right to the edge of their feet.
Yeah.
That was it. That's what it felt like, being ripped
Wow.
right to the feet. And I'm like inside myself begging, the internal begging, going, leave me alone, fighting back at it, at these forces. And they turn around and they say, yep, all right, we'll be back. And off they go. And I get up and I hyperventilate. So, what a ride. Yeah, there's
Oh
many
man.
many forces out there. And when we start recognizing that we're not actually here alone and that there are stuff there, they do interfere with our everyday lives and stuff, we get stronger against it. We get stronger against it. I believe that a lot of this has been brought on by those that are running the governments and, the puppetry governments anyway. There's so much going on. There's so much going on. I think everybody here is a targeted individual, right? It's not just one over another. Everybody's here for a reason. We've got something going on that they want to keep us here for. If they
Mhm.
wanted us all gone, it's just and it's a let's start again business. But
Mm.
there's more of a let's toy with the prey sort of thing going on. So a lot of experiments. Why did experience come out then?
That
Anyway,
too.
yeah, I'll stop there on that. But um, oh shit, you were saying about how do I tell? It's a feeling
Yeah, I
state.
mean, I mean, not just because it's like you go out and then you're awake and things are already in motion and happening around you, but you had zero awareness of it. You're
Yeah,
sitting in the same little curtained area and it's just kind of things are just happening around you and it was like okay, it felt like no time had passed and you like that's what you said was missing time. And
yeah,
when I had asked someone about, well, was this an astral travel? What was it? Just I don't even want to put a name on it. What was it? Where did I go? How did it happen? And I don't think anybody can really answer it up front with a pat answer because I think everybody's experience is going to be so different based on who they are, where they are, what the situation was. But that's why I feel like you do have to go to someone that is intuitive enough to be able to travel in and unravel the areas around that to get back to what happened to the
yeah,
essence, because ultimately it's the essence that's the animator of the vessel.
yes,
It's not the frequency, it's not this, it's not that. Yes, when we're talking about being a light being, the light is the physical biome. What is the essence beyond that?
yeah,
Nobody knows. They just automatic relate it back to something that's, something that's physical, something that you can the human mind can grasp. And I don't think we'll ever really get to that point where we can figure out what is the essence of the animator. Well, when the heart stops and the brain stops, that's just the physical biome. And yes, there's this light physicality to it. What about the essence? Oh, well, it goes into this and it goes, but you don't know that. I think it's far enough out there that what is that? What
yeah,
is this thing that's animating it? Well, it's God. You go back to source. How the hell do you know that? If you're sitting there, this is all light and light is motion and you're talking back into physics. I
yeah,
don't care if you put a Q in front of it or not, it's still physics. So I'm looking for somebody who can actually have some sort of credible theory because you don't have an
yeah.
explanation. And
No,
it is a theory. What's the theory of what the human essence is? What's the dog's essence? Because the dog's definitely got an essence. I'm sorry. That dog I have right now is the reincarnated dog. I had everything exactly the same. That dog in there. I had I had to leave my second Bernese Mountain dog, and she died without me, and I felt so broken over that. I
mm,
was gifted this dog. She was given to me. I couldn't have afforded that dog, but she said, "Here, you want a dog?" Because I was prepared to save up for 2 years. Um, I said, "Hey," which is about the length of a wait list for this particular breeder that I've known for beaucoup years. She called me, she sends me a text. What do you think of her? She looks beautiful. Well, come meet her. Okay. And as I'm driving away from the local fairgrounds, I got a dog in my backseat with all the papers and the leash and everything else, and call me if you need anything.
Yeah.
So there she is, come to find out, because her dogs sell for thousands and thousands. That one's for free. What's the hitch?
Yeah.
She's got a heart murmur.
Oh, okay.
I was brokenhearted when I left that dog. I
Mm.
think my dog was brokenhearted because she is in the other room.
Yeah.
So I really think that the physical form can have some mimicry to what had
Yeah.
happened previously or what may happen in the future to kind of make everything fit. But it
Yeah.
still doesn't explain the essence, the animator. There's something more that we still have to discover, that I don't care how brilliant you think they are in quantum physics, because they still don't know what they're talking about, and they'll admit to it. We don't know. We just don't know. We just don't know.
I think that's the fun of it, though, is that we don't know.
Yes.
Okay. And I know that I made a decision, in this lifetime, in my 40s, that was it. I'm not doing that ride anymore. I'm just going to allow myself to be me, to thank myself, to start acknowledging the experiences that I had. It was a hard, bloody journey. God, my Jesus. But,
Yeah.
where I'm at now, it's like there is this is such an amazing playground. It's, you get on a swing, you don't know how to do it for the first time, you're going to fall off. You fall off this and that and hurt yourself somewhere until you practice a bit, and then it's just going to be second nature to you. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know where I'm going. I was there and then I had a notion and I went somewhere else. Yeah, you call it squirrel brain. Squirrel brain.
Squirrel
Um,
brain.
yeah, I
So
think,
hey, maybe that's a good point for you to bring up your rabbit holes.
well,
You got lost in the war. Did you find the Warren yet?
oh, geez. Yes, I think I did actually through another source. But anyway, that's another subject, another day. Okay. Okay, the childhood, the dream states that we're going into, each of I mean, what I'm seeing is they're taking us back, they're giving us, okay, this is when this happened to you. Now you can see the date that it happened to you. You can see where it happened to you. You can see whom was involved, who knew what was going on. All of these little parts, land mapping is what I'm calling it, is coming back to us because that child never let go of that. That child's always had that. And this is what's coming to the surface. We are seeing these actions and we are looking at them because we're healing our inner child. We're healing ourselves. If I don't know what that actually means, but it's working for me and it's helping me at this time. Like when we're doing stuff, we'll do what's right for us at that particular time. And 10 seconds down the track, it may be totally wrong for you. But as long as you can accept the fact that you were wrong and you allowed yourself room for growth, you know, we're going to go back to a time where proper consideration was there. Consideration for who we are, what we do, how we live, how we treat each other. The respect will come back. I'm hoping. I don't know about that one actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be different. Respect is earned, okay? It's not just given, it is earned. Um, but this childhood, when I'm seeing it, I'm seeing, okay, Alice fell down. We watched it as adults. We came up with all these new different terminologies and feeling states and interpretations. And now we're going a little bit further. Now we're the child. Now we're that child that fell down that rabbit hole, and we're seeing things a lot larger, a lot different, a lot clearer. Because it's larger, it's clearer. I don't know how that works, but it does. We're smaller, so it's bigger. Anyway, um, that's the way my brain works. Um, oh, geez, I'm having a childhood memory. Okay, I have to share it. One of my terrors that I used to have was I would have been about 7 years old and I am running around and around a bonfire. And there's this little yellow V-dub following me, chasing me. And it is chock-a-block with people, I'm just going to say people, inside it, hanging out, all trying to get me. And I'm just managing every time to get out of the way. So, and I don't know how that ends. Sorry about that. That might be one of those missing times I've got to try to find. But, you know, but we're going deeper in there to see I'm not forgiving those that did what they did. I'm forgiving me, me as now in the inner standing, forgiving for not being there sooner. Okay, just not being there sooner for it. So for the healing to take place. But now we're in acknowledgement. So we go through these different stages. And when, like the 100th monkey syndrome, when one of us is feeling it, those that are tuning into that will feel it too, and it will start having effect. You talked last week about the ripple effect, about it wasn't just the ripples on the top, it was the pull underneath. It was the undercurrent as that rock fell to, to the bottom. Don't know if you remember that. But anyway, that stuck with me. If we approach a position where we can sit and listen in calmness and hear where it is coming from without taking any of that on board, I'm at this point in time saying this is a skill.
Huh.
This is a skill we all need to have. And
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, we need to get past a whole lot of shit if we want to get back into being telepathic. You know, we have to let go of our own secrets, our own baggage. We have to find ways to release that so that we have these cleared channels. So that when the voices do start coming in and we do start having these communications, it won't be in front of a blooming screen. We'll already have that recognition of the information of the imprint between two people. So I'll know yours and you'll know mine, and we will be able to go, well, yeah, we don't need the telephone anymore.
Right. And I think we have that. We just choose not to connect to it.
Yeah,
Um, I don't want to use the word tap in. I'm not a big fan of that, but I get people just, I guess you plug into it. Because if you plug into an outlet, that's where you're going to be connected to that particular energy source. And I guess you could
yeah,
kind of look at it that way, but um, really this is about all the way going back to the beginning of the conversation that we are connecting with and trying to heal that inner child. And if we're not going to be willing to do that, it's going to be it's going to be getting rough. You're going to have I don't want to say you're going to have to. It's an option. Everything's an option and everything's a choice. And if you choose not to take this mission, Jim, you don't have to. All right. So
yeah. We'll
it's
see
it's
it. We'll
it's
see you in another loop. We'll
this
see
is
you in
not this is not a mission impossible. It's a very mission possible. It's just
yeah,
whether you choose to take on that particular challenge,
yeah. You might
it's
not
it's on
realize
you.
You might not realize you've already taken the challenge on until you have a holy what the hell moment. And then it'll
That was
be
me
like,
this week, the whole freaking week.
yeah, yeah. And then it's like, yeah, nah, I won't be doing that one again. So, yeah, move on, move on.
Yeah,
But you know,
and I think usually when we talked about the rabbit holes, it's like, well, you think you found the Warren. And the interesting thing about it, we used to have a pond in the front at this house we lived in. And it wasn't a hugely deep pond. It had been established for a number of years, but what we discovered that, oh, let's get fish in there. So we put the fish in, we went to a local, whatever you call it, fishery, hatchery. And we put on all these little panfish and, it was a pretty decent pond. It was, I don't think it was like maybe a half an acre. Next thing you know, we got the local wildlife checking out the buffet. So we've got great blue herons, we've got sandhill cranes checking out the place. We even saw something that's not a lot of them around here. It was a green heron, a little guy. We saw kingfishers. You never see them. You never see the kingfishers. We saw kingfishers. So everything turned out, I was like, well, we're not going to do this every year, so let's just see what happens.
yeah,
What ended up happening is, I think just by putting that fish in, it kind of changed that little microbiome, if you will. And next thing you know, there were always the bullfrogs, but man, were there the bullfrogs in there. So a lot of the other birds still were coming around for that. But because
yeah,
they didn't have those fish, something else that moved in were muskrats. And I learned that the muskrats they can have their entry right close to the water.
yeah,
And that'll go down, and there'll be several openings underwater they will also have access to. They will also have tunnels leading to other areas they can camp out in that are like up to 20 feet away in the ground, away from the pond. So I'm
yeah,
thinking to myself, holy cannoli, I don't want to even walk out there. You don't know if your foot's going to go through. Um, so when you were talking about the rabbit holes, where's the Warren? I think there are several of them. So once you figure out that little cave you've been in, time to move on. You've
yeah,
learned what you need to learn and you can move on. But yeah, I think it's very complex. It's very, very complex.
yeah. There's a lot of energies influencing us at the moment. A lot. You know, I get a feeling that they're going to turn it up to 6G shortly, if they haven't already. So,
Um, so dare we touch on that energetic interference frequency generator?
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay. So the things that you see that are on those big giant sticks that starts with a T, from what everybody is saying, is not for the benefit of this. It's actually a destructive device that usually starts with a W, and that when they're coordinated, and there are a lot of people that will show these scanned images of a particular area like the United States, and it will show the pulsing
yeah,
waves of when this comes across. And I think the interesting part is it will basically fade out and stop. That wave peters out at the Mississippi River. Guess
okay.
where, I don't know how many, but it's the majority. I don't think it's like 50%. I think it's closer to 60 or 70% of the population here is east of the Mississippi, me included. And I'm telling you, it's really hard to sleep some nights when they're doing these things. Like, I'll look it up and it's like, yep, they sure did. I'm having trouble sleeping enough as it is with everything that's going on in life. There's some very disruptive things going on. Not in a bad way either. I think we need those things to shake us up a little bit to figure out who the hell we are.
Yeah,
But we have these, in addition to these life events that we're experiencing, we have the interference. And I feel like those are interferences that we're having to manage. So if you find yourself going back to the somatic senses, you feel that there's an energy. It's not even necessarily a being. It could be something that's being emanated through your body because of what they're doing with those frequencies coming off of those big sticks in the sky that they're saying is supposed to help these things, and they're not, because no
Yeah,
matter how many put up, the service is still wonky.
yeah. I think the service is all underground anyway.
It is 100%.
Yeah, it's all underground anyway.
It's called
So,
cable. Why do you think it was such a big deal for them to cut cables between here across the Atlantic? That was like a really big deal when that happened.
yeah. Well, I haven't heard much more about the Chinese being parked up between Australia and New Zealand, so I'm waiting for that to show itself again on the charts.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That put a bit of a little bit of a scare in people, but I think there's more to come in the future. And I was getting a bigger earthquake. I think I mentioned that earlier. See, this is the other thing. When we're talking about these feeling states, I get feeling states that I now can recognize as earthquakes. This is on my clairvoyance side. My body will go into different, okay, there's going to be, whoa, oh, geez, got to hold on to the table. This is real for me. This is not like, this is not like, okay, the palpitation or anything like that. Yes, yes. Anyway, this is like, if I get dizzy, there's a certain dizziness to it that's okay, there's an earthquake going on. And it will feel like a little bit of vertigo, but it's not vertigo. It's not vertigo. I've had vertigo and it's not that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so I was like, okay, I've got to take note. So as soon as I get any kind of disturbance in the force, I take note of the time, the date, what it is. If I'm feeling like it's going to be an earthquake, then what
Mm.
I do now is I look for they the energies that may be play with my brain the way they do, showed me how to use a map of the world on top of a calendar. Like you can see it over here. It's just yeah, right. Anyway, so I was able to put the transfer of the map from my mind on top of the chart and be able to locate where I could feel this tremor was happening. So I started testing myself on it. And, I'm not right all the time. And, I'll take credit for that. I'm still learning. But there's also the volcanoes. I got one the other day, which was I'm getting the 8.8s. I've been right with that. And now I saw a 9.7. It said 7 and then it went to a 9.1. So what my logical brain said was it was downgraded. Don't know what tells me that. But then what I saw was it was an underground volcano and I drew it. I'm not sure where, but it's on one of these pieces of papers. I've got just turned the map over so I don't see it. And it showed me the mouth of the volcano. It showed me rings around it, so it's happened before. And it was giving me all of this information. So now I've got to go and I've got to look. And this where it said was it is between where the Russia one went off and where the Hawaii one went off. It's about a hand width in from my map, from my mental map that. Anyway, so I'm going to go and look for that and see if I can find something there that resembles what I drew. Just for a bit of confirmation. So
Yeah.
now that will take us back to the whole confirmation bias, and normacy bias. What is it? It is when you're out there and you're people pleasing, you're telling them what they want to hear. That to me is confirmation bias. You're giving them what they want. All right. The other one is, and we all fall into that. And I'm seeing how we were having a discussion about people coming out and doing the readings, the divinations, using their abilities, tapping into the abilities in their other sources. But then you've got a group out there that are not just doing that, they're also tapping into the AI to do it. And that's not going to last. So if you're doing it, take advantage because it ain't going to last for long. So anyway, I don't know why I said that, but they will. So AI is doing the same thing. It's putting information out there and you wanting to go there and you wanting to find out more because what we all have in common is we want to know stuff.
Yeah.
You know, our biggest question is why, you know? Um, so I'm looking at the games factors, the music came up, and how you got different genres of music, but they still do the same thing as the movies do. They still do the same thing as children's programs, you know, due to the children's mind. It's out of control now. It's out of control. You know, we have to start taking responsibility for what's going on around us. How can we make this a better situation than what it is? And when you start looking after yourself, this is where people turn around and say, there's service to self and service to others.
Mm.
If you can't and don't know how to look after yourself, you're not going to do that for others. Okay? You don't want to be that issue for somebody else. You want to get out there and you want to be able to, you're never too old to learn something new, right? Do you know the basics? This is not just the exterior work. This is the interior work. If you ever want to go camping, go and set up a bloody tent in your lounge and you and your inner child can have a camp out. Do the things your inner child would love to do. Set up a bed for them there and whatever you need to do to get into that state so that you can go, thank you for that memory. Thank you for being there because you've got good memories within you. And when you're doing the dark shadow work with the child, you've also got to be balancing that with the good memories as well. So you've got to be transmuting the negative and putting that light energy onto the good memories you do have. It's not going to take away the memory that you had, that you experienced. Not at all. It's still going to be there, but now you know how to manage it. Now you know how to transmute that energy so one, it doesn't happen again, and that you can use that energy for a positive outcome. Does that make sense?
But that does make a lot of sense. And, it sounds very, 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 very practical. And this kind of can probably link back to, and I think maybe the inner child thing kind of ties into maybe something like spiritual and emotional maturity and why we might struggle sometimes. I'm not going to say others because I am definitely guilty of that. We all have something that, we're hanging on to. I use the example of my very bizarre anxiety when I cross a bridge. And here's the really weird thing. Okay. Very big bridge between the northern Michigan and southern Michigan. Big Mackinac Bridge. And I used to have to travel up there for work by myself, sometimes in the middle of winter. And it's, when I got up there one time, they were saying, "Oh, I'm glad you got up here safe. The snowstorm's already passed. We're not expecting any more snow today." So I was like, great. And I went in, I had my visit with my person, talked to the staff, checked the books, packed it up. And I said, well, I'll see you guys in 3 months. And I walked outside with all my gear and I'm looking out and I kid you not, the snowflakes were huge. It was like a bunch of snowflakes had kind of like connected on their way down. and it was just coming down. There was like, a half an inch of snow on my car. I was like, oh, is that what they mean by no snow in the Upper Peninsula? Okay. And it was a horror getting back to the hotel. I didn't even go back to the hotel. That was my first visit out there. Um,
Yeah.
so, there's no reason. I had like a really good experience crossing that bridge many, many times. Winter, summer, fall, didn't matter what the season was. It was always a really good trip. And I'm telling you, when you're on that bridge and you're coming up to the apex, you can see really far. I don't know how many feet you are up. You can go look up the statistics on the Mackinac Bridge in Michigan. That's not a small deal. And you're looking down and you got these massive ships down there, ships and sailboats and charters, and they look minuscule.
Yeah.
And you're driving along, and I helped somebody out one time, and I'm driving back, and I said, I am not going to drive in that center lane because it's a grate because they have to let the moisture and whatnot fall through. So if you were to stop on it, and some people do have to stop if there's traffic, you can see down under the water below you.
Yeah.
And not to freak anybody out, but on the other lane is paved, and I'm staying over here, brother. I am not moving. You can laugh your butt off, but we did have to pass somebody, and they're going, Auric's gonna have a trip. But it was chill because when you realize where you're at, you just have to kind of recenter the whole thing. And I never really had a huge problem with that, but it was the sound of that. That was
Okay.
troublesome. It was more the sound, not so much the height and the water coming
Yeah.
up that was below you. We're not talking about a couple of feet here. This is the Mackinac Strait. So yeah, that was just kind of a trippy experience. But locally, like I said, if I go to the store tomorrow, I'm going to have to cross at least one of those rivers. And it's a very long bridge because it crosses the floodplain. There's a huge floodplain. I have to take
Yeah.
that bridge across. It doesn't really bother me too much. But as soon as you do that little tunk and okay, I'm on the bridge now. And you cross over that, and it's not a deep river. That's not the point. There's something else that goes on in our psyche that we're kind of maybe haven't dealt with some of those inner child. And I don't, not everybody really believes in this past life. And I kind of feel like, well, it could be past life, could be future life.
Yeah.
I don't know. It really depends on whatever energetic aspect that you're connecting to is causing this anxiety. And it's gonna be my job for this particular example, not necessarily even to figure it out, but how to manage it,
Yeah. That's the thing. That's
how
the
to let
key.
it go.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things going on in life right now that it's really important and it's pivotal that we are able to be really not necessarily content, but embody happiness within the life of whatever it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
Only because whatever our desires are will come in alignment with that energy that we can maintain and being grateful. For me, having a roof over my head is huge because I
Yeah.
didn't have one for a while. It's
Yeah.
huge for me to be able to do the basic things in life. If I want to go out and buy something, I can go out and buy it. Not
Yeah.
everybody has that, but I've made that happen with the fact that no matter the shit and shenanigans that goes on throughout the week, and there was plenty this week, that I can come home and know I can still walk in Monday morning to that same office and say, Happy Monday. And
Yeah.
I'll mean it. I'll absolutely mean it because if it's just a word, people are going to be able to tell.
Yeah.
And and I know, Stone, that I've told you that story about when I first started there several years ago now, that people were pretty much on the Eeyore fixation, pretty frumpy.
Yeah.
And I said,
Yeah.
oh, hell no, I'm not having this. I was doing my own thing. I made them. I made a determination within myself that regardless of their response, I was going to say happy Monday, happy
Yep.
Tuesday, happy Wednesday, whatever day of the week it is. It's like, oh, it's a bliss day Friday. And it only took like 7, 8 months. And I walked in that front door and I saw two people walking across the lobby. They go, oh, happy Tuesday. And I was like, oh my God, that's so awesome. Rather than people going, ah, shit, it's only Thursday. That makes it that little thing that I did and had no intention other than speaking my own truth. That it's
Yep.
now, I was in a meeting a couple months ago, and the meeting starts, and this director says, Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So it's important. It's really important for us, even if nobody acknowledges it. It's important for us to maintain that frequency and pull that through and push it out.
Lead by example. That's what you're
Lead by
doing.
example, regardless of the response, and you have to embody that through your
Yeah.
life. Whether they pick up on it or not's irrelevant. I don't care. They could all go do something else.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still continue to be me, and I think that that's why I'm really loving this cup I painted, because it's true. You have to be yourself. By the way, I did that because it's my Christian name. It means queen bee. Um,
Huh? Okay.
so yeah, so I mean, that's the idea, is that you have to really be that self and be transparent about it. Otherwise, it's gonna be a struggle to maintain who you are. You're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna kowtow to somebody else's desires or somebody else's wishes. You're gonna give your power away, and that's okay if you've made a contract with that. You deal with that contract, but outside of that contract, you should be able to be yourself. Be
Yeah.
who you are and love who
That
you are.
that's the thing. You're stepping into the sincerity of who you are. You're
Yes.
now in sincerity of who you
Yeah.
are. So when you speak to someone, you know whether it's right or wrong. You can't tell tales, you can't tell fiblets, you can't, there's no excuses because this is it. We are in a time where we judge ourselves, we hold ourselves accountable, and then we do the crime, if you want to say, we do the time for the crime. And it's wow, the things that I'm getting shown, like we're getting shown when we've passed. It's right in front of us. But if we're in those states and we don't see it, we're going to keep doing it. So this is like I'm I don't follow the astrological charts and stuff like that. There's enough going on in my brain. I'll leave that to somebody else to play with. But I feel like there's a lot of forces coming in. I do follow the sun. I do follow the sun because I don't see it as a fireball like everybody else does. I had some experiences where the sun is a portal. It's a portal. And like you see cloud on this planet, we see flames up there. And like in other discussions we've had, the fractals of light make energy, they make heat. And this is the reaction we have down here with our anyway, I'm going too scientific. I'm not here for that today. But
Never. We're never going to be
yeah,
here there. I don't talk about religion, and it's a constructed belief system.
yeah,
Science is just another religion.
yeah, it is.
They
It
can say
is.
it's scientifically based on evidence, but it's very much a subjective thing based on your relevant technology, because they said, oh, auras don't exist. You can't see that. What are you, nuts? Now they have the Kirlian photography and they're going, oh, okay. Now we don't even need that. We can see you in your
Yeah,
home without a camera. They don't know anything else other than the Wi-Fi. And now they have cameras, well, not cameras, they're X-ray machines that they can drive up and down your street and see into your home in every detail. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. give it up. It's all based on this whole idea of if I don't see it, I don't believe it. That doesn't work anymore.
No.
It doesn't exist anymore. Seeing it and believing it, it's irrelevant because
Yeah.
you can be duped into what you see
Oh
with the
yeah.
AI, especially with the AI.
The technology that they've got for AI, you know, you're really going to have a keen eye to be able to spot. You know,
Yep.
one of my things that I do is I can't sit down and watch a movie without seeing one of the cuts in it. I did
Yep.
this the other day. I wrote down, I have to go back and I have to cut that segment and I have to cut that segment because I saw it. Anyway,
Yep.
but if you got these abilities to be able to see, I mean, really see, then you're going to be able to tell the difference. You're going to be able to use these abilities to actually see when it's being used on others out there. So by stepping into your sincerity, you're also stepping into a position where you can only tell the truth. And the truth is, you're going to tell them if you see something that is hurting somebody else, you're going to say it. If you do something that you think is going to hurt somebody else and it hurts you, you're not going to do it to hurt somebody else. You're not going to do it, and this is
And
what's
there,
going on.
yep.
This is part of that purge.
Yep. And that whole thing though, too, people are becoming more and more intuitive. When you see someone's face, and you're talking to them, whether it's in person or over video, there are subtleties that you can pick up in someone's face and the tone of their voice and the tilt of their head and their blink rate,
Yep.
whether they're what their reactions are. If you have enough skill, and it's not something, I mean, if you want to study it, go ahead, study it. But we're going to get to a point where it's going to be picked up on, and you're not going to necessarily be able to say, oh, it was this, and this because blah, blah, blah. It's going to be something doesn't sit right with me. Something's
Yeah.
not right. Something's different. It doesn't mean it's malevolent or bad. You're just picking up on something that's different. Maybe that individual that you're talking to suddenly got scared. Maybe that individual is lying to you. Maybe that individual is telling you the truth and they were caught off guard. So, this is where that energetic interpretation skill that we
Yeah.
either have or are in the process of developing needs to really kind of come to fruition. And the only way you're going to do that is not to isolate yourself, is that allow people to reach out to you, allow yourself to talk to them, because it's important that not just to develop that skill, but there is this human thing that we have been led to believe that is a danger, that it
Yeah.
is not healthy, that I need to protect myself. And somebody, did this, that, or the other thing to me, and they were, I got hurt. Well, guess what? They won. They hurt you, they won. Now you're hiding.
Yeah.
You know, don't let them win. Take your power back and get out there and run the risk of, getting on your bicycle and getting your knees scraped.
Yeah.
So that's, get on that psychological, that psychic, that, intuitive bicycle and scrape up your knees, fall in the ditch, laugh about it, saying, I'm grateful for the experience, and get right back on.
Yeah.
That's why I have so many scars.
Oh, mate, you should see my knees. Oh, God. Totally covered. Yeah, no, it's always my knees that get it out.
How many
Yeah.
people have a horse fall on them, right?
Oh,
I mean, you just get out there and you do stuff.
I could
Um,
tell you a story about a horse, but I'm not going to. It's not for public com
oh dear.
consumption. No. Yeah, bloody horses. God.
Oh, I
Yes,
love them. Sorry.
I got a few pictures of riding horses. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Oh,
Yeah, I like them because they got four legs and they can run away. They can bugger off anytime they need to. That's good by me. Just give me a cow. I can ride a cow. Okay, just give me a
my
cow.
gosh, are you kidding me? Oh, word. Yoy.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Uh, and this is just entertainment purposes, all right?
Yes, entertainment purposes. I
Animals were
don't know if
harmed.
you guys are entertained, but I know we are.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Because we don't do this for anybody else's grins. We do this for ourselves. This is my
Yeah.
mental health. I can't tell you how many times I've told people that. You know, I work in mental health and it's challenging.
Oh,
Uh,
shit.
yeah, no shit. No shit. Well, you know what they say, if you don't shit, you die, right? I'm sorry. That was just really crude, but there you have it. Get over it. But yeah, I like the idea of taking somebody who feels broken and realizing it's either okay to be broken and it's
Yeah.
okay for you to fix yourself and it's okay for you to have the life experiences you did. And yes, you can live a grateful, happy, and wonderful life. I had left that direct care aspect for 10 months. Now that I'm back into it as of this past week, it's been hugely stressful, but it's also been this really great blessing because I had several of my previous clients ask me to not ask me directly, but they want me
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them I had to say, that's not going to work. They need to stay where they're at out of continuity. But
Yeah.
many of them, it was just very gratifying, and many of them will never be able to live on their own, just because of what they've experienced in their life.
Yeah.
But give them the opportunity and empowering them. That's really what mental health case management is about. And it should be about any kind of case management or any kind of coaching, is you are to embody the ability for someone else to be able to do things on their own to a certain degree. They have to have the skills. If they don't have the skills, that's where you touch into what can we do as an agency to help you build those skills so
Yeah.
you can be more independent, so you can live a more autonomous life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's very gratifying, but it's also kind of scary too, because in the real world, you're a huge risk to the powers that be if they feel like you didn't do your job, even though you probably
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
So you got to really be on your toes. It could mean the difference between someone taking their life or making a mistake that could be very detrimental, and they will not bat an eyelash at making mincemeat out of you.
Yeah.
So you got to be a tough cookie to kind of get through that. And so this is my mental health, because I feel like the people that do kind of stop by and talk to us, because I know, Stone, you've been through so much. The people I don't want to get teary eyed. The people that I've encountered over the last 5 to 7 years that have been through so much, from the rape and the incest and the murder, and being the perpetrators of many of these horrible things, that I mean, I even met a very barely into the teens tattooed uh, child that was trafficked for drugs. um, just part of the system. It was really hard. You know, the fun thing about that, they hid that individual in my office because they had like a contract out on him. I was like, oh, great. You want to do
Yeah.
some puzzles?
Yeah.
You got to find a way to get past that fear factor, and you just kind of carry on and you keep your eye over here and your eye out the window. But you just kind of deal with stuff. But people don't realize the impact of your ability to function as a quote unquote normal person.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're a normal person, I had somebody tell me that. Well, it's you normies. And I looked at this individual and go, what do you mean by normie? Well, you're like you guys. I said, you think I'm normal? Good luck.
Mm.
And we kind of had this little dialogue, and it's like, oh my God, I never thought about it that way. It's like, yeah, because we're none of us. That's
Yeah.
just like the social construct that they've put out there. I mean, I didn't use that terminology, but they got it. You know, so
Yeah.
this is the impact that we can have on
Yeah.
people that have gone through these really, I don't like the word trauma even anymore,
No, no.
extreme circumstances and have overcome them.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's you. Yeah, I mean, you know, you probably don't feel like you're fully functioning, but you are.
Yeah, that's debatable. Okay. That's debatable. All right.
All of us should be able to say that. Not all of us, you know, all of, right.
And
You get my picture, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, the good thing about it being debatable is I know I can win both sides. So
Oh my
the
gosh.
all right. Yeah. We when we start forgiving ourselves the stuff and we start seeing where it's been coming from. There are these different stages that we go through for all of the different things that we go through. Okay, so it's like you get your set, you get your grief, you get your anger, you get your denial, you get all your basic senses get totally out of whack-a-woodah. And then it comes back to, okay, now I've got a choice to make. I can stay here or I can bugger off. And if you've managed to get through that part, then it probably won't be the last time it's going to happen. We're going to get to see something else. We're going to learn to use our senses in another way when we allow ourselves to. But also acknowledging that that's the journey that we're doing. That is your eye, your vision, your eyesight. It's much more than what they've told you that you have. Your feeling states way more than what they've told you that it is. I'm not into the total, this hairy fairy stuff. But if that's the language that you use at the time for your energy, then that's where you're at. All right. But know who is using that energy, where that energy is going to. Sometimes we're pushed, and I feel that the forces that are around me are always pushing me towards something else, learning something else. Pick it up real fast. Come on, pick it up, pick it up. There's no time for slack. You're always on the go. And then now and then something will show up and it'll slow me right down and everything else gets all chaotic because I can't keep up with the speed that I was originally at. And I'm hearing this with a lot of people too. If you're going through this major purge, you've got to allow yourself to release some of it, acknowledge yourself letting go of this inner turmoil because yeah, I don't like the word trauma, but in the circumstances that we live in, academia that we live in, this is what people understand as the language. Now, to me, all the senses are different areas of language. These senses are communicating messages that are, if I'm hurting in one organ in a certain area, then that's connected to that dimension. So I need to either increase or decrease the attention to that location. So if it's mineral or vitamin or if it's parasitical, is something tugging on that area trying to get your attention to communicate. Sometimes the chemicals in our bodies help us go into these dream states. They make these dream states more vivid. I'm only saying this because I know that when I eat certain fruits, my dreams are way more vivid. So I'm quite careful when I eat mangoes. It's like chocolate. When I eat chocolate, it's like what normal people would call having a stonage. So I don't eat much chocolate.
I love chocolate. Good chocolate. Not
But
the big name commercial stuff. You get
yeah,
a really good chocolate. Wow.
dark and
Endorphins. We're hooked on those endorphins.
Yeah, dark and bitter is what I like. Oh, on chocolate. Okay, on chocolate. Okay,
Yeah.
where else can we go? I'm my main thing at the moment is seeing that we've got two universes going on, pulling us apart. We've got this whole AI concept where they're taking over and they're taking your material, they're taking your mind, your intellectual property, your thoughts. Soon you won't even have to write a single letter. That means you're going to lose your abilities to write. Then you won't need to read anything because you'll have a robotic voice telling you everything that is just been written or said or regurgitated, right? You start thinking for yourself and you let this AI come in and do everything for you. Next minute, you're going to have AI holographic images right in front of you. Everything you do and say is going to be out there. It's going to be out there for everybody to see and do. All right. So if you don't stop now, and this is the purge, you get this out of your system right now. And then when we go into this time area, this space, it's like it's like a shower that's going to come down and we're going to it's like being washed away, having all your shit washed away. At the moment, we're going through stages like taking a leap of faith and being able to release it all comfortably without having any of it come back at you because this has been the problem in the past. We've been too afraid to get hurt by somebody that we feel is important in our lives. Therefore, we've developed this hurt mentality. So if we come out and try to be honest with somebody, we think straight away we're going to get hurt or knocked down or put into the blame, shame, guilt game. And
Yeah.
that may even take place. But that's this whole leap of faith of being able to do that. But you've also got to know the people that you're doing it with. You don't want to go there and do it if you know they're going to turn around and just snap. All right, this,
Yeah. Yeah.
it
And
just,
sometimes that's hard though to do, to stop yourself, especially once you have a certain degree of, I don't know if it's psychological momentum, but there's some sort of
yeah,
momentum that once you start a process going, it's like, oh, this doesn't feel right. And you just don't stop. Um, I think that might be, I wrote down the word numbing, and maybe that's where that comes up. We kind of numb ourselves to the fact that we have this ability to tell what's going on, but we make these choices along that path and we decide not to cut the cord, maybe. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
I don't know, because everybody is so different. Um, so it's really hard to make a blanket statement over something that in our society is so frickin' complex,
yeah, yeah, it is.
especially with AI. Um,
Well, this is the thing. They're going to use that in the future. All the jobs that we've had as mediators and, everything, advocates, these robot systems are going to come in and take over that. People are saying, yeah, this is the lifestyle they want, everything. You're going to run out of stuff, creativity. You're going to run out of that. And when you can't feed the beast, it's going to have no more use for you.
so someone actually said that the people that have the innate creativity, or people that connect to their, because I think we all have it in some aspect or another.
Yeah,
We all tap into that innate creativity and we're able to express that, whether it's in words or on paper or with something visual. Those are going to be the things that are going to really be, and I don't want to use the word profitable, but the most beneficial. Because I
yeah,
don't think it's about profit, it's about benefiting where we're at right now. Because
yeah,
this could very potentially be a situation of survival. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It could be a survival thing for us to, my son is an artist. He's, picked up a crayon and, he was 2 years old on his knees for 2 or 3 hours at a time drawing. I was like, whoa, is this like somebody who sits down and plays with a piano always going to be, a piano player, and he's going to have these great concerts and he ends up being a piano mover. But for him, for him, he is a brilliant artist. And I think his time, because he learned with that crayon on that paper,
Yeah.
his time is coming that he's going to be highly desired on, because you might sit there and have these beautiful and perfect morphing images, but when you start to see the perfection in the imperfection, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
that's where the real beauty is, because that's what he's got. So he said, well, what do you want for your birthday? He says, I want to buy you some crystals, because I'm kind of a magpie when it comes to crystals and cards. I asked him, I said, could you please just draw me? And I gave him some words to kind of build the image around. And he says, okay, it's going to take me a while to do that, but he'll do it because he knows how to do it. And that's what's important. It takes a little more time. It's not instant, but there are those beautiful, perfect imperfections that are in those images. He did an image of Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't know the movie because I don't do movies or TV or anything like that. I'll do a series now and again that interests me, but it was a Daniel Day-Lewis movie, and it was a particular screenshot, and he actually drew it out and put all the details with a pen. Now, he did use a computer program to do it, but it was done with a stylus in his hand, and he had to make the right selections for the shading, for the light, and it was an odd perspective. It was like if the camera was down here and it was looking up at him, and he got all the nuances, and you can blow up the image on his chin. You'll see all the hairs. He didn't have some AI put that in there. He took that stylus and put each and every one of those
Yeah.
in there, and you can tell. You can tell there is beauty in that imperfection because we don't have that. I mean, let's face it, one nose hole is bigger than the other. One
Yeah.
eyeball is bigger than the other, or up higher or lower, ear, same thing. We are the beauty in the imperfection. So I
Yeah.
think that's what maybe we need to start, making that. Maybe that's part of the shift.
Yeah. It also shows me, if you go back through history, you can see when artists, the painters were out there and they were doing their thing, they were showing us what was going on at that particular time. And then there's this lull where there's no great artists or painters anywhere. And then all of a sudden, there's another lot, and then it dies down again. And in between, there's the writers that come out, the inventors that come out, and then they disappear for a while. So there's a sequence to this. I'm now leaning more and more towards, AI has been here for a long time, and I think it actually goes further than that. I think it actually goes a lot further than that now. So I think we're going to come around to another reset where we actually switch it all off again and we go back into those old styles. If we can see in time what is going on, we can shut it down and still have the comfortabilities that we have of what we call modern day. We can also have the technologies out there for the right purposes. Everything is becoming psychological, but that's going to be replaced with AI psychology. So yeah, it's going to run out of material. I really feel it has to take this lull for a while. When we become great big civilizations, it comes back out again, absorbs all the information that we've developed from struggle to here. It's like it's mapping these reoccurring patterns and themes, and then it gets, hidden again by the so-called families. So that's what I'm seeing with the repetitive patterns and the purging and everything else. Yeah, there's a lot more going on. Like at the moment, the sun's, we're going to get hit. We're going to get hit with a solar flare shortly, and it's going to
Well,
cause a
keep
big
keep keep,
fucking
keep in
wave.
mind though too, yeah, the whole solar flare thing too. I'm not totally sold on the solar flare thing. I think they're gonna figure out a way to do something like that. If the sun is not this big ball of gas, it's not probably gonna be a solar flare. It's gonna be something else that they have as a device, that is a network of devices. And they're also gonna use things like natural, well, they're not really. Like right now, we have been, it's high summer.
Yeah.
And in Celsius, I think it's like maybe 22. We should be closer to 30. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're saying it's the Canadian wildfires, not wild, very much directed, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And it's been hazy. And I was like, oh, look at all the fog. It's like, oh crap, that's not fog, that's the haze. And it's on the fields. I have, fields behind me. And when I drive through, it's like it's all over. And then when you're driving, like trying to see the sunrise, it's like you can't really see it. There's always this blanket of clouds that run right across, not at the horizon. So you'll get a peek of the sun and then it disappears. It's always right at that one strata. And the few times that it hasn't, okay, so this is going to be trippy for some people.
Yeah.
One kind of behind the other, and it's just kind of weird. Like, oh my God. So I've taken a couple of pictures of them, and a lot of people have. And it's just a weird stuff going on. But with this haze that we've got going, and anytime we have had a full moon, it's always been cloudy. And you always see the streaky sky thing. Not going to use the terminology that's appropriate. It's a streaky sky thing. And that's what's going on. This is what we're trying to manage. And if you don't connect all these different aspects, I'm not going to say connect the dots because they're not dots. These are different aspects of different things that are happening that make a dimensional picture of what we're having to manage and get through the
Yeah.
whole process to
Yeah.
figure out what's going on, to have that expansion in our awareness.
Yeah. I think civilizations only get so big before they get this restart. You know, we got to the paintings that I've seen where the four winds are blowing down, and then you got they look like cherubs, and now that looks like it's directed, if you know what I mean,
Yep,
and the falling buildings and stuff like this, and it shows waves in the distance, and it shows this and that, and this is just a repeat. I wholeheartedly do not believe that this is nature. This
correct.
feels this feels too something else, too controlled. And
Orchestrated.
yeah, definitely orchestrated. And I think we might discover where the missing missiles went back from what year was it? 2010
Yeah,
or earlier than that, Anadarko protesting along the beaches around then. That's the map. That's the map. I can go back and find out the date when that occurrence was. I have to tell you, wearing these glasses is like really, it's messing with my brain. Yeah, there's something up there. I'm not sure what, but there is. No, it's like, oh my God. I feel like I have to speak slower to compensate for color.
really. Don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. I struggle with the blue. You can see the blue. So the blue is actually the reflection of, I mean, obviously that's my favorite color, but it's the reflection of the screen, whatever I have on the screen, it's reflecting onto the lens itself. So when it's got so that's what you're seeing is what it's reflecting back. So I may have already that blue reflective on there because these are computer glasses. They're not my normal glasses. My normal
Yeah.
glasses are very different,
Mm.
but doing a little research on it, they do have glasses that you can get, whether they're plain or the prescription. The prescription ones are not as colored as that. They are, they kind of have a greeny color or yeah, because
Yeah,
they coat that with a couple of the other things on it but it's not apparent. It's not something that you can just see. It's very, very different looking. You
yeah,
should be able to, and I'm not going to get any more of the lenses that darken. I think they're called transitions. I'm not going to get those anymore because they're saying that that's when we are deficient in receiving the natural light, and that's through windows, through your eyeglasses, through the car
yeah,
windows and windscreens. If you're able to get that direct sunlight, they said the best sunlight to get is in the first few minutes of the sunrise
yeah,
from the horizon, whatever time of year it is that few minutes. I think it's like the first 5 to 10 minutes. I don't know. You'd have to look it up. Don't take my word for it. But they said that it not only has all these hormonal benefits, and again, I'm not a practitioner or anything like that. This is just what I heard from, I think it was Dr. Bush. Don't remember his first name. Anyway, he was talking about how, and I know Augie Noss talks about it too, about this the sun gazing. I don't do sun gazing. If I'm lucky enough to catch any kind of sunlight coming off the horizon with all the stuff that's going on out there, it feels really good because you just drop the glasses down, you go out there and you don't look right at the sun, you can look above it and just kind of adjust your gaze for a few minutes. I feel so much better, and I stand out in the backyard and just have my feet in the grass. It's
yeah,
phenomenal. Even at night, I'll probably go when we're done with this. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna go hang out.
yeah,
I'm gonna go hang out with the stars. Yeah.
yeah,
And just kind of be, maybe put a little, light a little fire stick or something. And that's a big part of our mental health and our physical health is just kind of just being out there. And we're so disconnected from that. We're
yeah,
really disconnected from all that stuff.
yeah. I love sitting outside with a fire going under the stars, even if it's cold and chilly. Might even do it tonight. Might even do it tonight.
And there's
So might,
actually, they were talking about the shape of your eye changing when you're exposed, because I'm in a lot of unnatural light. So if you're out in the natural light, you're going to be more likely to retain the shape of your eye. And when you're looking at a blue screen and you're not outside natural light, your eyeball will elongate and it adjusts where your focal point is. I'm not a practitioner, but this is what I've read. Go look it up yourself that your focal point adjusts around that retinal focal point, and you lose you this is myopia. This is it right here. This is
yeah,
myopia. And exercising that, it's not just about exercising and looking around. It's about that whole idea of exposing your eyeball to the correct type of light.
yeah,
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna start doing. I would love to be able to pitch these things. Love
yeah.
it.
I used to do sun gazing. I can just go out there anytime now and just it's just like I haven't stopped. Okay, so it's like the best time is when as soon as it starts to rise. It's those first rays when they come over the hill. That's it. Nice, yummy, makes your whole body feel good. I used to like when I'm doing fasting, I'll do sun gazing and I'll ask the sun to feed me everything that I need for that day. Give me all the energy and essence that I need for that day to get through. So yeah, sun gazing's good. I felt like I crashed into a concrete lamppost when I was 5 years old. And messed up my eye, concussion, out like a light, woke up in somebody's arms, people screaming, went out again, then woke up again in hospital.
Mm.
Um, the regular occurrence. I don't know how many hospital visits I've had in my lifetime, but a lot.
Mm.
And shit, what was I saying? I don't know. It's gone again.
No, we were just talking about the sun gazing and
Oh, yeah. I
mm,
used sun gazing to heal my eye. Okay. I've not gone back to get my eyes tested or anything like that. Did my recent license and they said I was fine for another 10 years. So that's good. But then they told me I'll have to start coming soon and come back every year. Yeah, anyway.
Oh my. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know, we've kind of covered the inner child, dream state triggers, somatic senses, confirmation and normalcy bias, rabbit holes. Where's the Warren? AI, I think one of the funniest and numbing, uh, the AI. Okay, so one of the things you said that made me kind of laugh was stay here or bugger off. But I think people are definitely starting to become a little more numb with the idea of AI,
Yeah.
because it's just become a little more integrated into our system and lives, and it's not really invasive, so it kind of makes life easier, but I kind of take a back to it because I'm really going to try not to be that frog in the boiling pot of water. I do not want to get numbed to it. I don't want to get used to it. They say go ahead and use it. I am not. Other than doing a regular search, which you don't really have an option now. It's all like this AI search. And it's like, wow, you're off on that one. I got really ticked off at my phone one day and I had said something and it was very plain what I said. And it was an address to go somewhere for my GPS. And they kept misspeaking it. And it's like, no, is that right? No, it's not. And I got so ticked off. And I said some very colorful expletives. It's like it came back and said, I know I'm not perfect, but I'm trying.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
And it
no.
just made me laugh. I was like, oh my God. We got to be a little more aware of the fact that these things are going to repeat back to us, not with emotion, not with a conscience, not with any kind of awareness. They're going to be repeating back to you what has been programmed in them. Because you have to admit that has not been the first time I've gotten frustrated with this thing being not repeating what I said.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been
Yeah.
years because I use GPS a lot because I'm traveling a lot. I travel all over the state now. So I gotta be on the ball and I'm gonna put the stuff in, but if they're not gonna get it right, it's gonna be frustrating. This is the first time it's actually said, well, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. That was programmed into it. That is not something that is intelligence per se. It is something that it was programmed into that system to repeat back to you as a consumer to do with as
Yeah.
you see fit. And if you're going to believe that there's consciousness awareness in that level of a processor,
Yeah.
I fear for humanity at this given point in time.
Yeah. I see a lot of areas, but I mean, you got to be a little bit in to see what's going on, to see what its capabilities are, and then to say, hey, no, you're not. Yeah. I'm not going to be playing a role in that one. Not
Like,
unless it's got to be for the betterment of everybody's situation. And as it is, there's not enough housing to go around. And there should not be this kind of problem here. Not when we're the way we are. We're a caring populace. We're a caring type of creature. And yet our people out there don't have homes. They don't have food. They don't have the right education. They're still being left in the dark. They're left behind on every aspect. And this is where we're moving into another age. And I'm not going to be able to leave all of that behind because I came from that, but I will be more understanding of those that do because they're not going in the same location I am. And this is what we've got to be aware of. You might have been with somebody for forever, and all of a sudden they're taking a different path. They want a different adventure now. They want to go somewhere else. They want to do something else, and it may not work out for them. And if it doesn't work out for them, if you're there, if you still got that open form of communication, Who knows what might happen down the line? But at this point in time, it's about allowing the purge to happen, knowing that even if you don't want to even try to purge, shit is going to come up and out. So if you can get it out beforehand, it's going to make you feel that much better. Your ride is going to be that much smoother.
So yeah, you were just talking about going from one end to the other in the physical biome. So this is really a spiritual
Oh,
aspect
yeah.
of that, but not that this necessarily has anything to do with it. It was part of a conversation earlier about AI and this alleged I don't feel like it is going to go this direction if we don't want it to. It doesn't have to. It can have a very different outcome. But there's this dystopian perspective, and with a sense of humor, the dystopian is the Woody Allen movie with Sleeper, right? I mean, that was back in the 70s. I obviously didn't see that when it came out, but it was very poignant. If you pull that movie up and look at it now, it's pretty amazing how many of the things. I mean, he's got the really silly stuff about how they go in the tube with the orb and they have sex and they get their orgasm and all that. I mean, it was just like this really screwy little thing, but that was to add the humor. But if you look deeper into what they're trying to talk about, it's like, yes, it is definitely where the state controls everything, even your pleasure states. And that was the point. And if you're controlled with those aspects
Yeah.
of life, egads, good God, where have we gone? Are we really at that point? It doesn't necessarily have to be through AI that it's controlled, but it could be controlled through the state, what you
Yeah.
do, where you go, who you interact with, where you receive your pleasure, if you will, from. Um, you know, that's just kind of a scary thing. I don't know. I don't even know where to even kind of go with that, but I know that there has to be a plethora of people that are in that state. Otherwise, I don't think this movie would have come out. I don't think it would have been put out there. It's
I
just a
don't.
crazy. I don't know. You got to watch it. Have you seen that movie?
I don't think I have. I don't think
Oh
I
my
have. I
God, you
might.
have to. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. It'll make you laugh.
Okay. Oh well, if it'll make me laugh, I've got to watch it then.
Yeah.
I'll have a look and I'll see what flaws I find in it, and I'll make a little snippet of the findings. Oh
I
dear.
really struggle to do. I really struggle to do that. That's why I probably don't watch a lot I don't watch movies anymore. I mean, I'll watch something occasionally. I don't think I've been to the movies in I don't know how long. And my history kind of speaks for itself between you and I. That yeah, I kind of step away from all that stuff because I kind of saw the behind the scenes sort of stuff. But I don't see much value in it other than, oh, well, it's got a good information in it. It's like,
Yeah.
why? Well, it affirms X, Y, and Z. Well, I already know that. Why do I need to go see that movie and spend money and give them their due? No, no. I can go on to what is it, Rotten Tomatoes, and I can read it. It's like, oh, okay, yep, there's that, and that. Okay, I'm done. Or you can go on into, like a website like IMDb, and they'll have different ratings, but you can look at their little bios and all that kind of stuff and see what's involved with it and see the plot. They're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm not going to give them my money. No, I'll do something for true entertainment about something that's cultural. I like watching some dubbed stuff, but with English subtitles.
Oh
So
yeah.
those are fun because it exposes you to different cultural things. So I think that's good, especially, I think New Zealand is a little bit better with that. You're exposed to a lot more cultures than we are here in the States. People look at me like I got nine heads when I say, you lived in New Zealand? It's like, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
all of a sudden I've got this arm growing out of my shoulder up over here. I don't know. It's just people look at you different. I know. People look at you different when you say you're from a different place or you've been to a different place or you spent time at a different place. And it's like that doesn't make any difference. It enriches my life and it opens me up to other people's cultural perspectives. One of the best things I discovered when I lived in New Zealand was I got to know the woman. She was from the Filipinos. I really liked the gal from South Africa. She was a young woman with a young family. She was phenomenal. The one thing that really blew me away was all the Mexicans that were down there opening up Mexican restaurants. I mean, because I lived in the Wellington area, that was a lot of fun, meeting a lot of the different people in that little cultural little blast. It was just very different, and it opens you up to a lot of different things. So people are very closed in the US, which makes me sad.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Now we do have a lot of different cultures, but our local township, they decided they weren't going to have any fast food joints. So the takeaways are run by whatever culture food that they're selling. So we've got Indian, we've got Turkish, we've got Chinese, we've got Japanese, but that's it. That's it. We only have the closest town to me has one garage. It's only got two petrol pumps on it. Oh no, I think it's actually got four now. I have to think about it. That's bad. Then the nearest one after that's got two, and it's got one supermarket. So I can't go to my nearest township. I have to go to the next one out to get to the supermarket. So I like living this far out. It's not, we talk about isolation, and it's a hard life to live on your own out in the rural. You don't have you have a lot of electricity issues, you have phone line issues, you have what's coming and going in the pitch of darkness. You're talking about we need to make these little networks of when you're going to a really dark place and there's nothing there for you. I mean, I've recently run into a case where they can't go anywhere. They can't go and get help. They can't talk to anybody. Nada, nada, nada. And if they don't, I might be the last person they talk to. So it's like you've got to take into consideration your approach with everything. It's like when I've talked to some people about the way they do their divining, their divination, the readings and stuff, because we all do it differently. I do it from the voices and the feeling states that come up. When I look at a card, it talks to me. So I put down what it's actually saying. And I don't go into long conversations with it now because that would have to be a full-on reading, and I'm not going to do that.
It's a lot of work. And I think one of the things that we discovered when we were doing some of the live online readings, and I think that was the most we had done at that given point in time, was 6 of them. And maybe it's just as there's some way I can just tap into this inexhaustible thing, whatever I got, but I would probably collapse afterwards. But you said you were just absolutely drained, and it was 6 readings. I'm thinking, oh my God, what did I just do? Because did I tell you that I did that one day? I think it was last Sunday. I decided that I wanted to do zodiac readings. I thought, okay, so I'll start when I'm comfortable. I'll stop when I'm comfortable, and I'll start up again when I'm comfortable. And I got all 12 zodiacs recorded between 8:30 and I think it was 4:30. And I had time to do shopping and this and that. And it was like, feel really good. You find that when you set your mind to it, and you have that perspective of this is going to feel so good. And some of them were like, not all of them, but I think it was like Cancer, especially like the Capricorn. It was like, whoa. That I think I did have to take like a few minutes break before I recorded the next one, because the energy was so, it was like you think you'd get hit with it here. For some reason I get hit with it right at the core, like right from the root chakra all the way up to my throat. A couple of them hit, and it was like really intense. It wasn't constricting, but it was really intense and coming out. Never experienced anything like that before. which is why I feel like what you said earlier is going to be really pivotal. And if you don't do some sort of practice,
Yeah.
some sort of ritual, some sort of something, you're
Yeah.
gonna miss out on a lot of the benefits of fine tuning that intuitive ability that you have, because we all have it. And even talking to my son about doing, what would you call them? They're not incantations, but they're affirmations of what he wants and putting that out into the universe. And I said, you have to be consistent with it, because otherwise you're not going to be able to align with it. And then you're not going to be able to align with whatever the universe has out there to give to you. Because whatever we seek is seeking us.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was trying to embody for him. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I'll hear some good news that he was trying to manifest some things. So
Good.
yeah, and
Good.
I don't think it was the midget wrestling that they invited to me the other night. That wasn't it. No lie, that's not a joke. That's really what happened. I can show you the text if I wanted. There's yeah, not,
Not
oh,
good. Not good.
thank you.
Oh no.
I'll pass.
Um, well, so this week's dream was the pinnacle one for me was a chicken. A bloody chicken laid it. No,
From
sorry,
midgets to chickens.
it was a sorry, what did you say?
I said from midgets to chickens.
It was a duck. It was the way the duck walked. Okay, it was duck. All right. Yeah. Anyway, and I don't. They're little people. I call them little people. I'm a little people. Okay. I'm short. Okay. I have duck disease. Okay. Anyway, great things come in small packages. Anyway.
I agree.
Anyway, yes, I had the dream I was helping this duck and I was getting it out of a box or putting it into a box or something, a wooden one with straw and hay in it, and it plopped an egg out. And I'm like, what are you doing? I don't want any eggs. And it was green. It was a green egg that looked like a bloomin' emu's egg. And I couldn't figure out why this egg was so big. Anyway, dream state, it everything around ducks and eggs, especially eggs that are not cracked in a shell, they are fertility, they are good fortune, they are, good health. Everything is becomes a balance and all of this. And so everything that I've been going through was topped off by an egg dream. So that was letting me know that all the work that I'd already done on all the different dimensions, dream states and everything, now it's going to come to fruition. Now I'm going to get a breather. I don't really look for the rewards and things because it's not about money. It's not about gold. It's not about the monetary things. It's about seeing when it's happening. It's to me it's the little things, but when you look at it, it's actually really huge. It's multi-layered. It's you passed. You passed. You can't get any clearer than that. And to be able to see when somebody else gets it or they get through it and they're not even aware of all of the things that they've just accomplished, that is the little rewards that I get from doing this stuff. So,
Mm. Mm.
yeah,
That's pretty deep. I think that's deeper than what people might initially see. That kind of reminds me of that. We had a discussion, I don't know if it was recorded or not, about the pond and the pebble being dropped and the ripples. And, when you don't really see the ripples are actually when the ripple goes up, that it's displacing the atmosphere above it. And the atmosphere is a very complex. I don't even know how to define it, because it's like a compilation of it's not energy, but it's a substance or substantive substantive thing the air is. It's got a lot of stuff to it. There's a lot of things in the air, whether it's pollen and bugs and God only knows what else that they haven't told us about. But it displaces that, and below the pebble is dropping down, and it has this wave that comes off the bottom, and the pebble's going down, and it has this effect. This is only what we can see with our physical eye, but there's also the aspects of the energetic boom that happens around that pebble being dropped. Just kind of expand around it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being flaky. I don't know. But that's kind of how I feel like that what we've got. What we've got. We're only hanging our hats on the things that we can physically see. And I don't think that's who and what we are. We're being misled.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
there are things that we are connected to, and people that we're connected to, that is so much more and so much deeper, and we're being denied access, and we're allowing that denial to happen, and we got to stop it. We got to stop it. Our worlds would just absolutely explode with joy and ecstasy if we realize what we have at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know where that was going, but it's kind of like out there for everybody. And it's the limiting beliefs. We are limiting our beliefs, and are giving away our power to others and other things. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, well, that's been a ride. That's been
one hell of a
yeah,
ride.
yeah, down and back and out and round and
In
whew.
and out the rabbit hole.
Yeah. My main things is, be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself because only you know what you really need from somebody else. And so if you start by giving that to you, then you'll see it automatically comes back because they'll see you doing it and they'll know that that's what you want. You're talking about the different languages that we have, the body languages. I love what people watching. I love watching their twitches and their kinks. But most of all, it comes down to the energy around them. And that's what gives them away. That's what tells you the truth about somebody, whether that person's in their truth element or not. So anyway, yeah, I'm like you. I enjoy doing these because it is a mental thing. It's about getting that stuff out there and sharing it because we're all doing it. We're all going through it. I don't want to say we're all human.
Yeah.
You get my you get my drift. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, I don't know how are you feeling? I'm ready to call it a night and
I feel the same. We've been at it for a couple of hours, and I really appreciate those who stopped by. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Stone and I will be here next Friday. I don't know if it's going to be RoughShod. We may or may not have a guest, and we'll be able to do the other gig. Whatever
yeah,
happens, is happens. We're kind of winging it at this point,
we
but we'll
do.
definitely be on, right?
Yes, we do have a guest next week. We do have a lovely guest, and we will be doing guest reading. So, um, probably be doing oracle stones
Yep.
at this point. At this
Okay.
point, but you're
Yep.
gonna have to subscribe and find out where we go because this is a ride. We can go anywhere.
Yep. Ding, ding, ding. Hit that notifications bell. That's why I tell people, because I for a while there was really putting out a lot of the just random, could be random reads, random, inspirations. But I do the Saturday thing live at noon. Sometimes I'll get like something I'll just dictate onto my phone. I have to go back and look at my phone, see what's on there. I don't know if I have anything or not, but it's definitely been a very interesting week.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know anybody else, but it's been a major shift. And I think I've talked about the shifting before. So right now it's kind of in the middle of sifting stuff out so I can get some clarity. And I think that's why I didn't really receive anything now that may be considered a distraction or not. And I think everybody needs to kind of be having said that, if we can allow ourselves that personal grace and appreciation and show gratitude. Had some really hard things hit, not really hard, but very emotional things hit this week that threw me for a major loop. So it was something that I had to really step back and consider what the fuck is going on. I don't understand any of this. So I'm very grateful. I show a lot of gratitude for whatever powers that be are manifesting for this in my life. But showing that gratitude, I know that there's something so fantastically phenomenal on the other side of this freaking big ass hump that
Uh,
it's going to be awesome. Life is always awesome, and I'm enjoying that freaky deaky ride.
yeah, yeah. I think the only way to really get out of here is to actually want to be here, if you get my drift.
Yes, yes, yes. We
Uh,
could do a whole thing. I wish we could do it, and people don't are afraid to say the word, but we should do a whole thing on suicide.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so people don't like to say that word, and
yeah,
I'm sorry, it exists. So maybe we can have some, greens back behind the scenes kind of conversations about how we'd approach that without triggering people into saying, "Okay, I'm done, I'm out." You
yeah.
don't want to do that. And I
Um,
can be flippant about it because I was there. I'm the one who made the
same,
effort, right?
same.
We can
Yeah,
say that. So, right?
yeah,
All right. So that having been said, many, many, many thanks to everybody that's decided to kind of hang out, and many thanks to those who pick us up on the other side of all this craziness that we're all experiencing. And I guess Stone, what do you say? We're gonna see him on the flip side, yeah?
yeah. Absolutely,
All
absolutely.
right.
It's been awesome. It's always a pleasure working with you, Auric. It's
It is
always.
not, it is not work. It's a freaking party.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I say work, I don't mean it's
Yeah.
bad. I'm always working on improving myself.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll see everybody on the flip